Will Smith didn't lose control overnight. What happened on the stage at the 94th Academy Awards wasn't a random outburst. It was the collapse of an image that had been carefully engineered for over 3 decades. Because before the slap, there was the brand. And the brand of Will Smith was simple: the nicest man in Hollywood. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When someone's public identity depends entirely on being liked, pressure builds in places no one can see. Smith's rise began far away from Hollywood. Born in Philadelphia, he grew up in a strict household where discipline was constant and conflict was loud. Later in life, Smith admitted something that shaped his psychology early. He watched his father abuse his mother, and he made a silent decision as a child. He would never be the violent one. Instead, he would become the opposite: charming, funny, harmless, the kid who kept everyone smiling. That coping strategy worked. In the late 1980s, Smith exploded into fame as half of the hip-hop duo DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince alongside DJ Jazzy Jeff. The music was playful, clean, non-threatening. Even in rap, an industry known for aggression, Smith built a reputation around likability. Then television changed everything. In 1990, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air turned Smith from a rapper into a cultural phenomenon. The character wasn't just funny, he was safe, relatable, lovable, and that image followed Smith into Hollywood. By the late 1990s, he wasn't just acting, he was dominating the global box office. Independence Day, Men in Black, Bad Boys, film after film reinforced the same identity: the hero who saves the world while cracking jokes. Studios loved him, audiences trusted him, executives saw something rare, a superstar with almost zero controversy, and that's where the second uncomfortable truth appears. Because in Hollywood, authenticity isn't always the goal, consistency is. Smith became something larger than an actor. He became a product, a brand built on positivity, motivation, and universal appeal. He avoided scandals, he spoke about love, about family, about discipline, about personal growth. And for decades, the formula worked, but maintaining that image required something most people didn't notice: control, control over interviews, control over perception, control over emotion. Smith openly admitted later that he studied the biggest movie stars in history, including Tom Cruise. He analyzed press tours, fan interactions, body language, everything, not just to act better, but to be perceived better. That level of calculation isn't common for actors, it's more common for politicians. And for a long time, the strategy worked perfectly, until reality started interfering with the image. Behind the scenes, Smith's personal life was becoming harder to control. His marriage to Jada Pinkett Smith had always been presented as unconventional. Open conversations, radical honesty, public vulnerability, but the transparency came with risks. In 2020, during an episode of Red Table Talk, Jada revealed a relationship with singer August Alsina. The internet labeled it instantly the entanglement. What millions saw in that interview wasn't scandal, it was discomfort. Will Smith sat across from his wife, smiling carefully, while the internet turned his reaction into a global meme. For the first time, the perfect image cracked. Not dramatically, but visibly. Memes spread, commentary exploded. Suddenly the nicest man in Hollywood looked humiliated, and humiliation is dangerous for people who build their identity on admiration. Because admiration can disappear overnight. In the months that followed, Smith doubled down on self-improvement messaging, motivational books, YouTube content, philosophical interviews. He talked about fear, ego, inner work, and redemption. But here's what most people missed. The harder someone tries to control their image, the more fragile that image becomes. By 2022, Smith was approaching something he had chased for decades: the ultimate validation in Hollywood, an Oscar. His performance in King Richard was already generating massive award momentum. Critics loved it. The industry supported it. For Smith, this wasn't just another role, it was the final step in a 30-year career strategy. Respect, legacy, recognition, everything was perfectly aligned. Until a joke changed everything. When comedian Chris Rock walked on stage at the 94th Academy Awards, no one expected the moment that would follow.
Who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord.
At first, it looked like normal award show humor. A quick joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head, referencing G.I. Jane. The audience laughed. Will Smith laughed too, for a moment. Then something shifted, and within seconds, the most carefully protected reputation in Hollywood was about to fracture in front of the entire world. At first, the moment looked harmless, a quick joke from Chris Rock about Jada Pinkett Smith and her shaved head, referencing G.I. Jane.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right?
The audience at the 94th Academy Awards laughed, including Will Smith. For a second, everything seemed normal. Then the camera caught something else. Jada's expression. She didn't laugh. She rolled her eyes, and in that brief moment, a silent exchange happened. No words, just a look. Smith stood up, walked toward the stage. At first, the audience assumed it was part of the show. Award ceremonies are scripted chaos, unexpected jokes, planned reactions, but this wasn't scripted. Smith walked directly up to Chris Rock and slapped him across the face. The sound echoed through the room.
Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
For a moment, nobody moved. Rock stood still. The audience froze. Millions watching worldwide wondered the same thing. Was this real? Then Smith returned to his seat and shouted the line that instantly removed any doubt. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. Twice. In that moment, something more than a physical slap happened. A public identity collapsed, because for over 30 years, Will Smith had represented composure, charisma, control. Now the world saw something different. Anger, raw and unfiltered. But here's the uncomfortable truth most discussions avoided. The slap wasn't just about a joke. It was about image. For years, the internet had been turning Smith into something he couldn't control. A meme, a punchline. Clips from the entanglement interview circulated endlessly. Commentators questioned his masculinity, his authority, his pride. Public perception had shifted, and for someone whose career was built on admiration, that shift mattered. Psychologists often describe a phenomenon called ego threat. When a person's identity is challenged publicly, especially in front of peers, the brain reacts as if status itself is under attack. The stage at the 94th Academy Awards wasn't just any stage, it was Hollywood's highest temple of validation. The moment where Smith expected recognition, respect, victory. Instead, he felt mocked. When ego collides with humiliation in public, rational control sometimes disappears. Minutes later, something surreal happened. Will Smith won the Oscar for Best Actor for King Richard. He walked back onto the same stage, this time holding the most prestigious award in the industry. And the speech that followed revealed something deeper. Smith cried, apologized to the Academy, talked about protection, about defending family, about love making people do crazy things. But one thing was missing.
To love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people.
He didn't apologize to Chris Rock. Not yet. The contradiction was impossible to ignore. The biggest moment of Smith's career had arrived at the exact moment his reputation shattered, and the consequences came quickly. Within days, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences launched a disciplinary review. Public opinion split instantly. Some defended Smith. Others saw the slap as unacceptable violence. Comedians rallied behind Chris Rock. Industry figures debated professionalism. The Academy's decision was clear. Will Smith was banned from attending the Oscars for 10 years. Not expelled, but removed from the room that had just crowned him. It was symbolic punishment. Not career-ending, but reputation-changing. Then something unusual happened. Silence. Smith disappeared. No interviews, no red carpets, no public appearances. For months, the man whose brand was visibility vanished. That silence wasn't random, it was strategy, because celebrity redemption follows a pattern. Step 1, disappear. Step 2, reflect. Step 3, return humble. Months later, Smith released a polished apology video. He addressed Chris Rock, answered fans, took responsibility. But the apology revealed something subtle.
So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk.
Smith framed the slap as lost emotional control, not a flaw in character, with a small difference. One suggests a mistake, the other suggests identity, and rebuilding an image means protecting identity. Hollywood slowly tested his return. His film Emancipation released later that year. Promotion was careful, interviews controlled, tone reflective, not triumphant. But the real question wasn't one film. Could Hollywood's nicest man rebuild an image that took decades to build and 10 seconds to damage? History suggests an uncomfortable truth. Celebrity redemption rarely depends on morality, it depends on time. Outrage fades, new scandals appear, attention shifts, and slowly reputations rebuild. But the slap changed something. Audiences saw behind the performance, they saw frustration, vulnerability, ego, traits every human has, but celebrity brands hide. The truth is simple, Will Smith didn't become someone new that night. Pressure just exposed who was already there. The smiling star, the global icon, the motivational speaker, and the man who lost control on live TV, all the same person. The slap didn't create the contradiction, it revealed it, and that raises a question Hollywood still hasn't answered. How many perfect images exist only because the wrong moment wasn't filmed? Because the most fragile thing in entertainment isn't talent, it's reputation.